Welcome to Thinner Peace and Menopause and Beyond. This is Dr. Deb Butler, Master Life and Weight Coach, and as always, your coach. Happy New Year, everybody. It's 2019, and I can't think of anything better to start the new year with than talking about the model. I know you guys love it and you want to learn more about it. So I did this earlier last year, and so I'm going to do the model again and repeat it and help you understand it better, because there is going to be so much more work on the model this year, and I am going to give you all kinds of opportunities to learn with me in free webinars for the new year, so you'll be an expert at the model. So stay tuned. Hi there, everybody. Guess where I am? It's always a guess because you never know. But I'm back in Belize again, looking outside. You know what I'm looking at. And if you see my Facebook Live videos, that's what I'm looking at because I show you every time I do it. But I always come up with a topic that I think is of interest for either losing weight or for getting through menopause or for just what the heck is going on in your mind today. And speaking of your mind, that's exactly what I want to talk to you about today. And this is where I'm going to do the big reveal about why my coaching is so successful. It's because of one thing only, of how I figure out what is going on inside of you by figuring out what you're thinking. And the way that I do this, the way I take apart your mind through my coaching, is a simple tool that I use that's called the model. And basically, what the model is what I use for anybody that I'm coaching that I always see in my head. And it's the way I coach myself. It's called self-coaching. So when I teach you this, and I haven't told you yet, I'm keeping you on alert because it's coming. I want you to see exactly how your mind creates whatever it is that you have in your life right now. And for instance, if we're talking about weight, how you have created the weight, whatever weight you are right now, is a product of what goes on in your mind first. So I believe that as I teach you this very special model, you will learn the thoughts that are creating the results, either what you want or what you don't want. But it gives you a little bit of a preview to what's going on in your mind and how I coach anybody. And what I'm doing, especially for this episode, is I am giving you a copy of this model and an example of this model. You can go to my website to get it, because if you can see it while I'm talking to you, it will be a lot more clear. So in order to get the copy of this model, you can go to drdebbutler.com/the model. Download it, get a copy of it, and listen to it while I'm talking to you. It's also in my companion book, if you have that, on page 42 and 43. So either open up your companion book, go get the model on my website, or just listen up, and you'll probably want to listen to this podcast again. Because I'll tell you what, I get a lot of letters from people who say they listen to my podcast more than one time, which I find amazing, but it makes me really happy to think that I'm saying things of such relevance and saying so much in one podcast that sometimes you have to listen to me more than once. And you know, I think the same thing when I'm coaching people. Sometimes they'll say, "What did you just say? I want to write that down." And you know what? This is what I say. Brilliance is fleeting. Because whatever came out of my mouth was immediately how I reacted to something that somebody said, and it comes and it goes. So I almost can't remember what I said. That's what I like about a podcast, because you can repeat it over and over and over again, even if I can't remember what I said. So in preparing for this very, very special episode, I want to tell you what the model is. Okay, So you know that I think how you think is very, very important to what you get. And that many times, many of us really don't know what we're thinking. Many of us believe that our circumstance is creating our feelings, right? We've talked a lot about this. So let me explain what the model is, who the characters are in the model, and how it works as simply as I can. And if you've got the model in front of you, it's going to be very, very helpful. If not, I want you to just close your eyes while I talk to you so you can imagine what you're looking at. Okay, so we always start with a C, the circumstance. And a circumstance is a fact. That's basically what it is. It's a fact. It's the past. It's other people's behavior or world events. It's also the weather. It's things that absolutely you cannot change. For instance, you cannot change the weather. You cannot change the past. You cannot change a world event. These are unchangeable. That's a circumstance. Now, if you can imagine this C, which stands for circumstance, then I want you, if you have a piece of paper and you're not looking at the things that I asked you to look at, then really what I would like you to have is a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil. So first you're going to write your C, and you're going to write under the C, you're going to put a T. A T stands for thoughts. And a thought is a sentence in your mind about what you think about the circumstance. Okay? Now, under the T, you're going to put an F for feelings. And a feeling is a vibration that you feel in your body. Okay, you got that so far? So you've got a C. Under the C is a T. Under the T is an F. Under the F is an A for actions. And an action is what you do or don't do. Under the A, you're then going to put an R for results. And a result is the effect of your actions. If you're looking at my book, you're looking at this. If not, you're looking at a piece of paper that has C for circumstances. And a C can trigger a T for thoughts. Thoughts can cause an F for feelings. Feelings can cause an A for actions, and actions can cause an R for results. That is called the model. And it is, in my opinion, the cause of everything, and it's also the way to solve any problem, including your weight. This is like magic in a way, and I've been talking all around this for the last 60 episodes, but I haven't really explained where I come from and how I'm working. And now I'm releasing the big secret. So now you're looking at this model, and the big thing about this model as you're looking at the C, T, F, A, R is I then want you to draw an arrow from the results back up to the thoughts. And in that arrow, I want you to write evidence. Now, if you're looking at the book or you're looking at the downloaded piece of paper that I ask you to get, you're seeing this. What this is saying is your results are always evidence for your thoughts. I get it? Now, this is just the beginning. On page 43, if you're looking at my companion book or you've downloaded the papers that I asked you to get, I have a model, a very, very simple model, and it's really not that simple, but it can be, is how the model works in your mind. For instance, we have a C I use as raining outside. That is a fact. It's weather, and it's unchangeable, and it's agreed on by everybody. Nobody's going to disagree if it's raining. You can go to court. The judge will say, yes, it is raining outside. That is a C. Under the C comes the T, which is what you think about this circumstance. I put here in this T line a thought that I can't work out. Have you ever thought that when it's raining? Many of us believe because it's raining, we can't work out. but really it's just a thought. And the reason that it's a thought and it's not a fact is because some people do work out in the rain. It's not a fact. But what you think about the rain will determine how you feel. So for instance, it's raining outside. That's a circumstance. You think the thought, I can't work out. That thought causes you to feel an emotion like tired. And when you feel tired creates or causes an action, which in this case, you watch TV. And when you watch TV, which is the A, it creates a result, which is you didn't work out today. And you didn't work out today is always evidence for your thought, which is, I can't work out. So this is really, really simple, but I want you to see that the raining outside has nothing to do with how you feel. A lot of times we say, I'm tired because it's raining, as if that's a fact of life. But that's not why you're tired. You're tired because you think, I can't work out when it's raining. Or you think rain makes me tired. That's just another thought. But for instance, for me, and this is really the truth, since I've been using these models and learning about these models, is that I walk when it rains and I love it when it rains. I do. And so, of course, the feeling that I get when it rains is I get motivated and excited because I think I love to walk when it rains. And so what is my action when it rains? When I feel motivated and excited, I walk in the rain. And the result is that I have a great walk, right? I have a great walk because I think I love to work out in the rain. Two different thoughts, same circumstance. And that's the deal. Many of us believe that our circumstances create our feelings. Can you see that? So in other words, many of us come into coaching, especially with me, and believe that it's something outside of them, some circumstance that's causing them to eat, as opposed to their thinking about the circumstance that's causing them to eat. So let me give you an example of that. For instance, let's take another model. And remember, a model is like this thing that you're looking at in your head or you're writing it down, right? Because the biggest thing about the model is to be able to separate the facts or the circumstance from the thoughts. Because once you do that, circumstance is unchangeable, thoughts are totally changeable once you know the thoughts that you're choosing to think. And the interesting thing I say about thoughts is choosing to think, because you always have a choice in what you think once you're aware that you're thinking a thought and that you're not talking about a fact or a circumstance. So let me give you an example. Here's a circumstance. You have 2 deadlines on a project that are due by the end of the day. That is an absolute fact. Nobody would disagree with it. You could take it to court, okay? Now, you have this thought, I'll never get this done. And it's a thought, right? It's a thought that you're choosing to think. You could think something else, but that's the thought that you choose. And when you think that thought, it makes you feel overwhelmed. All right? So where does overwhelm come from? Does it come from the fact that I have 2 deadlines that are due by the end of the day? Or does it come from the thought about what you think about these 2 deadlines that are due by the end of the day? I'll never get this done. According to the model, it's not the circumstance that's causing the feeling of overwhelm. It's the thought, I'll never get this done. You could think something else, but that's the thought that comes to your mind that you choose to believe. And when you think the thought, I'll never get this done, and it makes you feel overwhelmed, what do? What is your A line? How many people come to me and tell me, whenever I'm stressed, I eat? So to me, stressed is just a negative emotional vibration, such as overwhelm. So when I feel overwhelmed, according to the model that I'm talking to you about right now, I go down to the vending machine and eat candy bars. That's the action I do when I feel overwhelmed. And the result from going down to the vending machine to eat candy bars is, number one, I stop working on the project. That's the biggest thing, which proves the thought that I'll never get this done. It's evidence for the thought. I'm trying to keep it pretty simple, but can you imagine all the stressful feelings that go on inside of you that you believe are a result of your circumstance, of your work, of your relationships, of other people? That in the model, it would never work because nobody but you can cause your feelings. Nothing can cause your feelings but you and your thoughts, which means it's really, really good news, because that means the only thing that you truly have control over is what? Your thoughts, right? You don't have any control over your circumstances. That's basically what a circumstance is. It's uncontrolled by people. It is what it is. It's the weather. It's the past. It's a world event. It's a person doing something. They are all circumstances, and they do not create feelings. There is a middleman that creates feelings, and it is called the F, or the feelings, right? So in my first example that I'm telling you about, 2 deadlines that are due by the end of the day, which is the circumstance, the result of that is you stop working on your project because you think the thought, I'll never get it done. It makes you feel overwhelmed. You go eat instead of work, and you don't work on your project, and it probably doesn't get done. You prove it. Just think, once you're aware of that and you're aware of the model, and you knew that in the minute that you were feeling overwhelmed. And I tell my clients, anytime you have a negative emotion, know that it's coming from something that you're thinking. It's never coming from the circumstance. This is what I teach. This is what I'm teaching you. This is the secret, which means that you don't have to change the 2 deadlines that are due at the end of the day to feel better. You don't even have to do them. The only thing you have to do is decide what you want to think about them. And if you think something that makes you feel overwhelmed, it's probably going to lead to a result that you don't want. And if you think something that creates motivation, it may lead to a result that you do want. So what would motivate you? I think for myself that if I have 2 deadlines that are due at the end of the day, the first thing that I'm going to think is possibly I can only do one thing at a time. Because number one, I can only do one thing at a time. And what I know for myself, which would be a thought for me, is I always get things done. Which means if I already know I'm going to do it, then all I have to do is do it one thing at a time. That is a thought, as opposed to, I'll never get this done. How many times do you choose a thought like that makes you feel so overwhelmed you can't work? It is never the circumstances that makes you feel negative emotion. It is always the middleman, or the T, your mind, that creates a thought, that causes a feeling, that causes an action, that causes a result. Is that making sense to you? I hope so. So this is what I want to leave you with today. I'm starting with the model, and you now know that you have total control over what you think and 0 control over a circumstance. And most of you feel hopeless because you can't change a circumstance. And yet the reason you really feel hopeless is because you have a thought about that circumstance that is making you feel hopeless. And this is where the power lies. The power is within you. Always. It is never in the circumstance. And that is the beauty of the coaching that I do, is that the power is in your mind. And once you are aware where the power lies, you also have the power to change what runs through your mind. That sentence that runs through your mind can be changed, because all a thought is a sentence that runs through your mind. And let me tell you this, Within 1 minute, there are so many sentences running through your mind, and you're always choosing something to believe. And if you can choose one thought that you believe, it's possible that once you realize you're choosing it, you could choose something else once you become aware. So this is what I want you to do this week, because this is the biggest thing I've talked about so far, is I want you to practice this model. I want you to start writing on a piece of paper a C, and under the C, a T, and under the T for thoughts, an F for feelings, and under the F for feelings, an A for action, and under your A for action, R for results. The CTFAR model is what I call it. And once you get really good at this, you can do your own self-coaching because you can always fill in the blanks. Now, this is just the beginning. Next week, I'm going to go over the model a little bit more and teach you how to fill in the blanks depending on what's going on in your life, depending on what the circumstance is and what the thought is. But I want to warn you right now is that you need to be clear about what the difference is in your head between a circumstance and a thought. Most of the people that come to me have a lot of thoughts, not a lot of circumstances. And it's the thoughts that are making them miserable. And of course, that's always good news to me because I know that thoughts can be changed once you're aware you're choosing to think about them. So I want you to practice the model. This is what causes everything. It's what happens in your mind all the time that you have been unaware of. And now you know. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some more models in the next couple episodes to help really clarify how the model works and how you can use it. Because in The Wizard of Oz, where the good witch says to Dorothy, you've had the power all along. You've had the power all the time. You have had the power all the time. You just didn't know it. Now you do. Practice. And until next week, I also, and this is a thought, be very, very, very kind to yourself. Bye-bye.
If you're ready to take your eating issues to another higher, more improved level, well, it's time to talk to my wife, Dr. Deborah. She's helped hundreds and thousands of people. Just visit drdebbutler.com/work with me. You'll get a free consultation with Dr. Deb and find out if coaching and talking to my wife is a solution to your struggles.